one is from 1967, and this is what started the series of comic books as in vulnerable situations. Particularly this one here, what caught my eye was right before we went to Iraq. It's kind of profound just to find these images of these superheroes and these less than super images. And it kind of goes with the identity of masculinity and how everyone is vulnerable and everyone has a vulnerable side to show. Operation Iraqi Liberation, which was the first tag name for the mission to liberate Iraq, which has an acronym of OIL, and they picked it up maybe after releasing it to the news after maybe one day and changed it to Operation Iraqi Freedom. This piece here called Punks is a piece that I had started in 2004. And it basically was a series about the judgment that people impose on an individual based on how they're dressed or how their outer appearance is, and not on who a person really is. We're very quick to judge someone based on their outer appearance. But this piece has to deal with a lot of the same issues, like as we grow up, we're told to be a man and don't cry. And I cry all the time. I don't see how that make me not a man if I don't cry. So I love to put my thoughts down so that you can read them, but not make it easy for you to read them. And that's one reason why they're backwards. And the whole life philosophy that I try to represent of changing negatives into positives. And myself being dyslexic, I kind of want to bring the frustration that a dyslexic person may have reading. And these three works here are new. These are from 2008, we should say. And this kind of, again, goes into hypocrisy. And this one, the idea came from watching television shows that censor bad language. And within the same television show, they'll show someone pointing a gun at a human being, which makes no sense to me as a person that is not a violent person. It's really one of the most fun pieces I've done in a while, which is probably to date my favorite piece. It's the last painting that I've done. It's 2008, and it's an image of two cowboys riding through town, shooting guns. And as I was drawing these images, this one image ended up being George Bush to me, which I thought is really appropriate, being that, you know, he's about to leave office in 2008. And while one day thinking about this painting, as I'm trying to come up with a title and what I'm going to write, because I love to write on a piece also. Almost every time I have to write something on it. I was listening to a Jay-Z song, Justify My Thug, which I thought was just, I mean, you can't do any better with George Bush. This particular piece is a piece I did with an artist by the name of Anthony McKissick. And we just worked at the same time together. Bam, bam, bam. This piece I did with an artist by the name of Larry Scott, who passed away in November 2007, in which we started this piece in 2004. And over the years, we would go into it and add and touch up different things. And right before Larry passed, I remember this area was much brighter, and I had started moving into making my paintings more monochromatic with the colors underneath, bringing some color to tone it down. And this particular piece was one that I wanted to do that because it was just a little too bright. Because it was bright enough, I felt, up in this body where the characters were. We had this like bush or some type of barrier here, and we had the words read, the good, the bad, the ugly, which is where the title of the show really came from. And I just wanted to tone it down some, so I did this right before he passed, and he had a chance to see it, and he loved it. And so this is a piece that I shared with Larry Scott. Good, the bad, the ugly. And Larry basically drew these characters of what Larry added to this piece, and then I added the color and the titles and the halo. For this particular painting, I painted it left hand, but I also painted these words from the end to the beginning, which also makes it backwards. And this piece here is a piece that kind of goes back to my fashion design days. It's basically a fashion design, leather overalls with leather buttons, and my fashion logo, which is a J. We had a sniper in the Baltimore, Washington, Virginia area, in which everyone in the media, we were looking for a white van. And around that same time, I was given a copy of a movie. And the movie was Apocalypse Now, the director's cut. And I had never seen this movie. And when I saw the movie, I believe we were about to invade Iraq, or we had just invaded Iraq. And I recall the United Nations address by General Colin Powell, in which he had slides with arrows pointing at vehicles and the satellite images of these vehicles leaving with quote unquote weapons of mass destruction, which I believe was the reason we were trying to get him to get rid of weapons of mass destruction initially. The first command by George Bush was, get rid of them or we're coming to get you. So then we go to the United Nations and says we need to go because they're getting rid of them and we got to get there before they get rid of them. Which again, I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but maybe I was dreaming, I don't know. But this is what this piece is all about. The last line in the movie, Apocalypse Now, by Marlon Brando, before he gets sliced up with a machete by Martin Sheen, he says these words. And at the same time, we had this big campaign in Baltimore that said believe, these big black signs with these white letters all over town. And I just thought that all of these things went well together. And it says, we train young men to drop fire on people, but their commanders won't allow them to write fuck on their airplane because it's obscene. Again, like previously, it's just back to the whole hypocrisy thing where we accept killing over bad words. It's one of the most amazing things, I think, that we have in our society in America.